right here to the is Jesus Michael? Is it Jesus the angel Michael? No, is Yeshua the angel Michael?
Yeshua, the angel Michael.
What?
Yeshua Mashiach, IESUS Christus.
Because who was he before he was Yeshua? That's what we have to understand. You know what I mean? And when we recognize what John says, in the beginning was the word. Notice, he goes to this angel to say, give me a word. You know, you say, come on, man, say something, man. Come on, tell me it's all right. Come on, man, tell me it's all, you know what I'm saying? You know, come on, man, you'll bless me, man. Right? The angel who redeemed me from all evil, bless the lads. Wait, hold on for a moment. Is that a prayer? Is that a prayer right there in Genesis 48:16? He's saying that the angel who redeemed me from all evil, from all harmful, from all who act as my kinsman redeemer. You know, remember when the Lord says, I will send my angel, notice, he don't say I will send the angel so-and-so. No, he says, I will send my angel, right? Malachi, I will send my angel. Some of us suspect that the last book wasn't really so much a prophet. It was actually, the pre-incarnate Yeshua, actually in Malachi. Because if you notice, he was judging the priest thing. And then if you look at the fullness of the Brit Hadasha, it's like he becomes the high priest and the offering, done the debtors and the blood, the blood on that level. The angel who redeemed me from all evil, bless the lads, and make my name be named on them, and the name of my fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and let them grow into a multitude in the midst of the earth. So this is very interesting here, because here he is actually saying that it's the angel who redeemed him. And then Yah will say to Moses, I will send my angel that will go before you. And he says, be mindful of him, because my name is in him. He didn't say my attribute of being God is in him. He said, my name is in him. See, Elohim is an attribute, like a title. It's like a function, like father, like brother, like almighty one, creator, judge. But when we say Yahweh or Jehovah, we're saying his name. He said, my name is in him. And then after the Israelites got bummy, he recalled that. And Moses is saying, tell us who you will send with us. If you won't go with us, notice that, tell us who you will send with us. If you won't go with us, he's like, blot me out. I won't go up hither. Why so much fuss over an angel? Because that angel wasn't just any ordinary angel. That's the same angel that met with Manoah's wife. Remember? With what's his name? With Samson's parents. Remember? The angel was talking to the woman, the angel of the Lord, of Yahweh, always identified.
Not to cut his ear.
Yeah, not to cut his ear. And then the wife went to the husband. The husband like, really? Well, I got to see something. So then he came there. And then notice when they was offering him gifts, they was like, yo, we're going to make some food for you and everything. And he's like, well, I won't eat. He wasn't going to eat, but he stayed around. And then when they did the fire, it said that the man angel went up in the fire. Went up in the fire. That's the same one that met with Joshua, Yehoshua. Old Testament Joshua the first. That met with Joshua, and Joshua was like, are you friend or foe? Are you with us or against us?
Yeah.
And he said, neither. He said, I'm captain of the hosts of the Lord's army. He's captain of the, like I'm I'm the captain. Well, I love that part where he met Joshua was like, yo, who are you? Yo, are you for us or against us? Are you friend or enemy? You're on our side or the other side. He said, neither.
Let's get this out of the way now.
Yeah. I'm not, like as Matt said, I'm not trying to make distinctions right here. I just want to see what's going on here. This is who I am. So there's many instances throughout the scripture. And what's so interesting is that in other scriptures, wherever, even in the Gedla Adam, thank you for reminding me, in the Gedla Adam, I got to go over that again. The parts I zoomed in on is whenever the Lord sends his word. Because whenever the Lord sends his word, that's an indication. That's like the pre-incarnate Yeshua. In essence, that's who Yeshua would be, the word. Whenever he sent his word. You know what I mean? Because his word come to one, and it's like his word is like a person talking to them. It's like he sent his word to this one and said to them, and they said, well, how is this going to be? Or what's going to happen then? The word said such and such. And then, you know, the word went on. You know what I mean? So here, Jacob actually, and this is strange because from a Hebrew perspective, we don't worship angels, but we know that there is the angel, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
We don't worship angels. Why? Because we are to be as messengers ourselves. We're messengers. Like the angel that John wanted to bow down to, he said, no. I'm your brethren. I'm your brethren. You know what I mean? I'm your fellow, and your fellow messenger. You know, so remember how the children of Cain went off, the children of Seth were up there in the mountain. They were like angels. But when they came down from that mountain and mingled with the daughters of men, you know, with the Canaanite seed, you know what I mean? Their spiritual, yeah, their spiritual. It go back to the Delilah thing you was mentioning, right?
Yeah, the light went out.
Oh, one other verse, my brother. This is the verse, right? Isaiah 63. Well, that's the verse too, but this is the verse on top of that verse. It's like we made a cake and we put some icing. So we put on some layers right here. Isaiah 63:9. This part here, this part right here, this part where it says, in all their affliction, he was afflicted. And the angel of his presence, the angel of his face, right, saved them. The angel of his face, Yasha. Yasha is the verb root of Yeshua. Yasha means he had saved. Yasha, he had saved. He saved. It can be also was delivered, was victorious, right? It said the angel of his presence saved them, right? In his love and in his pity, he redeemed them. So you see the he who was redeeming them connected with this angel. And here, like with the book of Jubilees, it's giving another context of who the angel of the Lord is. It's the angel of his presence, not the angel of a presence, but of his presence, saving them, Yeshuaing them. In his love and in his pity, he redeemed them. He like brought them back, and he bare them and carried them all the days of old.
Let me read the JW.
Please, I'm looking forward to that. Yes, I.
Yeah. It says here, Isaiah 63:9. During all their distress, it was distress to him, and his own personal messenger saved them. In his love and compassion, he repurchased them, and he lifted them up and carried them all the days of old.
And all the days of old is like, you know, they could have translated as all the days of eternity, because the same word that sometimes is translated as old, like the ancient days, to say the ancient days. So now notice how that clearly it kind of links with the idea, at least I'm trying to share here from the scripture, of
like I said, on his own personal message.
I love that, man. Yo. His own personal of his face. You know, and you know what interesting thing? I don't have it. It's probably here available, but I'll find another time. But one seen it before. It was in one of Dr. Ben's books. He had a little something on Christianity, you know, like touching on Ethiopian church and the Jewish part, the Hebrew part. And it showed a picture of what he called the Black Messiah. And it was a drawing. But when you or me or I or others see it, they probably would say, oh, that's a drawing Rasta's made to say Haile Selassie is Christ. No, that's a drawing that the true church, that church of Philadelphia, before 74, 75 made. And when you see how they drew Christ, the face, and then we see his majesty's face, you know what I'm saying? It's that sense of a man do a icon, and that's the vision that's come to him. And boom, here come his majesty. That's the same image, the black Messiah, the Christ right there. Now, the angel, his own personal angel, is the one, like when you face him, you're basically facing the Father. You know what I mean? But it's the Son. It's the messenger. And notice, this is the key thing. He takes the prerogatives of God. This here, the only other angel that even attempts to do that is the fallen angel, if you understand. The only other angel, right, that attempts to kind of take the same prerogatives of God, right, is the one that was cast down by Michael. You know? And Michael, it's interesting, Michael, in that sense right there, because who is like God? See, all those who are like God, in the sense of in the way, the truth, right? Come on, Michael's the angel of the Almighty, you know, and he represents Israel. He defends, he stands up for Israel. You know, he supports the other angels. You know what I mean? In that way, it's a way of showing a faithful servant. But while the angel of his personal angel, come on, when it says his personal angel, the angel of his presence saved them. Wait, hold on for a moment. And redeemed them. Isn't this the same attributes that that in the New Testament sense can be found and ascribed to Yeshua? But here's the difference. Here's the difference. He took on himself our humanity. That's the difference. In every other scene of the angel of the presence, the personal angel, you know, give wonderful blessings, godlike blessings. He even says, I will do this, and I will do this, and I will do this. You know, tells Moses.
He took off the incorruptible and put on the corruptible and was not corrupted.
But here's the thing that caught me about the whole angel thing, is reading Revelation from that perspective of the Hebrew, the Judaic Trinity, right? Understanding the role of, because sometimes Father will send his spirit. Notice that. Sometimes the Father send his spirit. Sometimes the Father will send his word, right? Or his angel with his word, his personal angel with his word. Sometimes he will come himself. Notice that. And that was not forgotten on any Hebrews or Israelites, like coming from Old Testament time. So by the time we come to New Covenant time, this is the amazing thing, like you said, taking off the incorruptible, you know, and notice the prerogatives you see in the angel of the presence, in Yeshua the man. What we find is that humility. But yet, even in the humility, you can see peeking through is a divinity. And whenever he kind of burns fire, really, is with those religious leaders. You know what I mean? Those vain religious. Let me point out the vain religious leaders. You know? So Michael, I'm not against what the sister says. I understand that reasonment there. And I like to reason with somebody that maybe, you know, like, even if they have, like, if there's additional information, I'm just saying based on the scripture information and seeing Michael as an Israelite name, Michael as a prince that stands up for the children of Israel during times of tribulation, you know, guards Israel in times of tribulation. And then in Revelation, where it says he sent and signified it by his angel. Can we go there for a moment to distinguish? Because I mentioned that the Father's personal angel is the word in the manifestation of the angel of the presence, the Malach Panayo, right? But the question now is, does the Son have angels? Does this, I mean, in a sense, if we really are truly called, that's the whole point, right? Us being as messengers. You know what I mean? Fire angel.
But that's what for those who listening to, those of us who attribute to any of the 12 tribes, them, regardless of which tribe you subscribe to, you have to remember that each tribe is like a finger, right? But when we make that fist, that double fist, that's the nation. That's the power and the strength of the nation. So we have to realize that when the nation was chosen as a people, it was chosen to be a light to the rest of the people. We were supposed to walk in that light to be an example to the rest of the people. But we corrupted ourselves, Ain't nobody else corrupt we corrupt ourselves.
Yeah, and that protection, that protection was withdrawn.
We came off the path that we were set to walk on. We choose. We was given it's like it was given a golden road, and we decided to take the dirt road. That was our choice.
He said, "Beware of the angel. His name."
We have to realize that we're a nation of people, and this nation was chosen to be a light, a shining light to the world. That is our duty. Now, earlier in the reasoning, in the part one of the reasoning, they bring up a point about we getting back to a certain level of humanity. And that level of humanity we are trying to get back to is that state that Adam and Eve was in before the fall. They are a different body.
And a different relationship, a communion.
A different relationship with the Most High, because they could still see the heavens and communicate with the heavens in them times there, So when we look at these things, we have to hold us that
truly,
we as the people is the light. So whether that the reason we have to know that is the archangel like Michael and Yeshua one and the same or not, the simple fact that is both of them is a light, because if it's the same or not, it is a shining light, and not only a shining light, it's a defender of us who willing to hold the faith and tread the tread. Because that's our adversary, not our adversary, our advocate. That is our advocate. So for those of us who are treading that path and trying to be that light, he would advocate for us. For those of you who are not, he's your judge, jury, and executioner. So you choose which side of the coin you want from him, because it's either reward or punishment. Whether it's Yeshua or the Archangel Michael, when that time comes, there's nowhere to run.
And notice that the archangel, he was defending the heavens. Remember, after Satan gets dropped and his angels, after he gets dropped, it says, like, joy to the heavens. I'm paraphrasing, but joy to the heavens, but woe to the earth.
Yes.
Because Satan has now come down to you. He's down on your level. Right? Now, what we read in Revelation, it says things which must shortly come to pass. Now, we have to take here how we read it. Is it speaking about things in the heavens that would happen? We already know that Satan been down here on this earth from Job time, right?
Yeah.
Was this when the Nephilim fell? Could this be a part of the Nephilim fall? Because many of us see that that's part of what happens in the Nephilim fall. Giving us a kind of an insight. It's almost like you watch a movie and it's telling you about things that are going to happen and come. But then they reflect on something that happened in the past. That kind of explains, well, this is why we got Satan and his angels running up and down. I really see that connection there. I got to go into Enoch to look into Enoch concerning these things. Because I think is Michael represented in Enoch? We need to look into that. I'm looking at Revelation 1:1.
Yeah, he is represented in the book of Enoch.
Yeah, so see what role he plays and how it lines up with what we have here. Because there's the revelation of Jesus Christ, of Yeshua HaMoshiach, Yeshua the Messiah, the anointed, that God, Elohim, gave to him. So in this sense, if this is the revelation of Jesus Christ, that Elohim, that God gave to him, then to interpret it within the light of the Trinity, the true light that the Father gave to his number one son, right? Gave to Yeshua HaMoshiach to do what? To shew to his servants. Whose servants? I take the context right here, both the servants of God, right? The Father and the servants of the Son of God, his servants, things that must shortly come to pass. But it's the last part here, speaking about angel. And he sent and signified it by his angel to his servant John. So we know that God gave him, that God the Father, remember how Christ says that everything he has, he was given of the Father, his words. He said his teaching is not mine, but is him who sent me.
Yes.
And he said, as he was sent, right, he will send too. So now we get revelation, where the revelation was given to him, right, by the Father, God the Father. And then he sent this to show to his servants. And but notice it sent, and he signified it by his angel. So my question here is, does Jesus Christos has an angel? Because it says by his angel to his servant John. So not John the Baptist, but John the Revelator, right? John Mark, some say, right? We have John. We know he's one of the 12. As you mentioned, the 12 and the fingers and the tribes, right? He's one of the 12, and therefore Yeshua, it seems to be saying Yeshua has an angel, right? And he sent and signed this, signified it by his angel to his servant John. Because what other angel is mentioned in Revelation? And do you think that because we get the angel Michael, right, knocking out Satan and his angels from the heavens, is saying to the saints that there's going to be tribulation, but there's victory as well. There's going to be victory. You know what I mean? Once you understand what this is all about. But this is the part I point to when it says his angel, right, to his servant John. Because it says everything that the Messiah does, Yeshua does, he does what he sees of his Father. So I could have gone to the Old Testament when the Father said that he would he will send his angel, right, to go with the children of Israel. And then he says, beware of his angel. He says he will not forgive you. He says his name is in him, right? Almost like obey him. His name is in him. So when he says that his name is in this angel, understanding the Hebrew, the name Yahweh is the name, right? According to the Hebrew, right? The attribute El, Elohim, Elohe, Elohai is basically attributes of like the almighty power, right? The judge, the creator. These are how Hebraically these attributes, you know what I mean? These attributes are brought out. So in the Old Testament, the Father says he will send who? He will send his angel. So the Father says he will send his angel, and the Son says, whatever I learned from the Father. I see that the Father does this, and this is why I do these things, because it's I was with the Father. Notice what he says. It says he was in the Father's bosom. Doesn't it actually says that? He was in the Father's bosom. Like I think in John's gospel, he says that he was in, the bosom, the bosom of the Father. And where's the word?
It's funny you say that, because in part one of this, you mentioned the burning bush, and what he said at the burning bush, that he was not known by the name Yahweh. He was known by the name El Shaddai. And the name El Shaddai, to give you some context, It's not just a
okay.
simple one word or one meaning to El Shaddai. El Shaddai has the nourisher, owner, sustainer of the heaven and earth, breasted one, almighty and all-sufficient provider. Now you just talk about the bosom. The Shaddai in El Shaddai is nipple or bosom, which is a protuberance.
Yeah.
That's what you said that word, protuberance?
Yeah, like it comes out, like a man's chest or a woman's chest, like a woman's chest comes out, a man's chest. But yeah, use the female breast, but go through. Yeah.
And it says affluence and source of blessings. So when you said he was in the bosom, it just reminded me to bring that into the reason.
That's a good point, brother.
El Shaddai, since you mentioned that a couple of times in the first part.
Wow. You
showed listening who probably have not looked into the name El Shaddai.
You showed me something there.
A little something about it,
You showed me something. That's often translated as Almighty, like usually El Shaddai is often translated as the Almighty God. And then we have the angel in the bush saying that I was known to the patriarchs as Almighty, as Shaddai, but was not known by my name. And then he said the Yahweh name, and then he explained to him, Ehya Asha Ehya, I am, I be. Tell them that the I am sent you. Interesting you mentioned that, because thank you, man. Actually, there's a medi I like to get in on that one right there. But thank you because in the breast, it kind of puts it all together.
Yeah, there's a medi we can get into that some
other
time.
No, it's a good medi.
Because I what you're saying, because right here in this, because there's more here inside of here what I could kind of, contribute, but it shows the duality, the balance of the Most High within the masculine and the feminine.
Just as a mother, right, breasted to nourish, and a man having the chest muscles, like to work, like to plow the land, to do like man things, and then we also say in Rastafari, your lung half as strong to smoke centimania. I remember that one, the whole idea of the lung, the breast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The idea is like to receive that inspiration into your bosom. That one receive an inspiration like into your bosom, into your heart, into your chest. The breastplate. Look at the breastplate of righteousness. Righteousness is on his chest, is on his heart. And thank you, bro. The link you just made there with what Christ says about, or what it says of Christ being in the bosom. Only the only begotten. You know what I mean? That in other words, he's of the Father's own nature. In fact, just check this out. Exodus 23 and 20, just on this here. I noticed something about the translation I didn't notice before. And I got to point this out, man. Wow. This is interesting how translation kind of hides the translation, right?
Kind of. Exodus? It's Exodus?
Exodus 23 and 20. Because the KJV says, behold, I send an angel before thee to keep thee in the way and to bring thee into the place that I have prepared. But when we look at the Hebrew, right, there is my angel, Malaki, right, Malaki, like Malachi, Malaki, my angel. It says, behold, I myself will send my angel, or notice what it says. It says an angel, right, before your face, right, before your face, like before you, to keep you in the way and bring thee into the place that I have prepared. This is when the Israelites are setting out after coming out of Mitzrayim, out of the Tawi. Then the next verse says, beware of him, right? Beware of him and obey his voice. You know, isn't that also what he says of him? He says of himself. So here we have Yahuwah is saying that he's going to send. So the context here, the Father is saying he will send his messenger or a messenger, right? But beware of this messenger. Obey his voice. Provoke him not, right? Provoke him not. The word provoke is like don't embitter him. Don't embitter him in that sense, because the word to provoke, right, is like to be embittered, and to be embittered is almost like to rebel. Like provoke him not, right? For he will not pardon your transgressions. See? The angel, how can I say this? The angel, it's interesting. The angel will not pardon your transgression. This angel will not pardon your transgression. Why? It tells us, for my name is in him. And notice this angel is not like a name, like a El name. See, the El name means that the attribute, Almighty, who is like the Almighty, right? The man of the Almighty, or the strong man of the Almighty, Gabriel, Uriel, the fire of the Almighty, Raphael, the sewing, the stitching, the healing, Raphael, the healing, the sewing, stitching of the Almighty. So we have these other angel names right there of the Almighty, right? But this one is clearly connected with his name, right? He says, it didn't say that he'll speak in my name. It says, for my name in him. My name.
How does the second sentence go again in 20? After he says, I am sending an angel ahead of you.
Oh, I'm sending an angel, ahead of you, before you, to keep thee in the way, and to bring thee into the place which I have prepared.
This one I read, it says, I am sending an angel ahead of you to guard you on the way and bring you to a place where I have prepared. So this one said to guard you on the way.
No, the word there, shamar, the word for keep. Shamar, people on the screen can see it. The BDB, Brown's Driver's Brig, says to keep, to guard, to observe, to have like charge, to guard. Actually, you know the word actually, shamar in Hebrew? It actually means to hedge about. Like with thorns, like if you have a garden and you have a precious flower over here, but you got some little foxes that like to play around, you put some thorns right around there to guard, to protect. You know what I mean? So if any animal or creature come near, they hit those thorns and they leave it alone. You know what I mean? So it can come to full maturity. So notice what he says about this angel. And then later on, Moses is complaining because that is withdrawn. In other words, that's withdrawn because the people are acting bummy. So in other words, it's almost like if he were to send this one and they start to act up, you know what I mean? He's not gonna pardon, because he says my name is in him. In other words, this one can act on my own authority, but this one is acting as a messenger. It's like a word. You know what I mean? It's like that word, and he doesn't have to forgive you. And then it says right here in the next verse, it says, but if thou indeed obey his voice, verse 22, and do all that I speak, boom, there we go. So when the angel, even with Jacob, this is the same angel here, right? This is the same angel that with Jacob, with Moses, with Joshua, with Manoah and his wife and everything. But before all of that came later, here in the wilderness, if thou will obey his voice and do all that I speak, then I will be an enemy to thine enemies and an adversary to thine adversaries. This word is sarar, not satan. Sarar actually means to bind, to cramp. You remember how Rastafari used to say, cramp, cripple, and paralyze every weak heart conception? Wipe them out of creation. We don't hear that no more, right? Cramp, cripple, and paralyze every weak heart conception. Like afflict them that afflict thee. So it's interesting that this is said, and then just one more verse right here. It says, for mine angel. Now he says mine angel, you see? So now he takes, like you say, ownership. This is Malachi, my angel shall go before thee. to bring thee into the Amorites and the Hittites and the Perizzites, the Canaanites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, and I will cut them off. So there were these 7 nations, right, that were to be evicted. You know what I mean? That were to be evicted, you know, and his angel will go before. You know what I mean? And it seems like this angel, it's not like others have their angel, like when it says Michael and his angels fought, right? And the devil and Satan, the dragon, and his angels fought. Most of the archangels have their angels. They have their troops, so to speak. But this angel seems to be able to, you know, do it like single-handed. What is it, single-handed combat?
Yeah, you got a green light.
He got a green light. He's lit. But the problem is, right? The problem is that the Israelites, you know, the problem was that the Israelites, remember, this is chapter 23. When we get to chapter 32, they already had broke their word.
But the question is, who is this angel?
Well, the angel, his name is in him, right? His name is in him. He said, obey his voice, because everything he speak, the angel will speak this. I think that, what's his name? Brother Stephen in Acts chapter 7. You know what I mean? You know, in Acts chapter 7, he talks about, and Moses was in the tabernacle. You know what I mean? Yeah, Moses was in the tabernacle, and it says he was in the tabernacle like with the angel. You know, he was in the tabernacle with the angel. You know, so there was an angel in the tabernacle, and what you call him says that which book is it? Jubilees. It says that when Moses went up to the mount, that God commanded that the angel of the presence, his personal angel, would write these things and communicate to him things of the past ages. You know, like, so when we say, well, how did he know these things in Genesis? He wasn't even around. They might have been stories with the people, but we know these things because according to what is written in Jubilees, right? Yeah, you know.
Let me introduce something to the reasoning real quick here for ones and ones. What I read out when I read the explanation of the name El Shaddai, I got that out of the ancient mysteries of Melchizedek. So that's the book. And in the book, The Ancient Mysteries of Melchizedek, on page 120, it says Shem HaBorim. Am I saying that right? Shem HaBorim?
Shem HaBorem, B-O-R-E-M?
No, Boreh, B-O-R-E-H, Boreh, Sherabor,
Shem
Shehabor,
Boreh.
Shehabore.
Yeah. It doesn't ring a bell. I know there's a Shem HaMipharas.
Shem HaBore.
And does it give a targum, an interpretation?
This is the names, the 72 angels bearing the name of the Creator. So now, when we talking about this specific angel,
the name or the attribute? I know the brother probably mentioned name. Who's that book by?
Well, you have the name and the attribute. This the second edition. This is by actually Melchizedek Y. Lewis.
Okay. Yo, that's actually known as Sister Queen Makeda. That's her king man. Queen.
Yeah.
No, yes,
this are. I mean, if anybody could get their hand on this book, the ancient books of Melchizedek, get your hand on this book, right? It's a very good book to have, but make sure you are a little seasoned in your studies before you jump in this book. You know, this book is really not for the for the novice, the ones who still in kindergarten or junior high school in their studies of far as conscious awakening. You know. This book is more for somebody who are a little more deep into their studies and have a different understanding than the religious teachings that you have been brought up on, So,
True.
the 72 names, it's the 72 angels bearing the name of the Creator. And all these names in here have attributes to them.
Are they mainly L names or?
Well, no, you got Vehuya.
Oh, okay.
Which means, and he is Yah.
Okay.
Etymology, and he is.
You got it.
The self-existing one. Then you have Yaliel, Yah is my strength. Yah is to me the power.
Yeah, Yah, Li, El. Yeah, Yah, Li for me, El. Yah, Li, El. Yah for me is El, is Almighty, is power. Yeah. Yes, I.
Sita El, which is the deflection, diversion of El.
Oh wow, that's interesting because we have the Torah portion, the Sota, but Sota is a feminine construction, but from the same Sateh. So it says Sita El. Yeah, like to swerve or to cause,
Yeah, deflection or diversion, and then it says the self-existing one. So Sita El.
Well, I have to look at my copy of that one. I don't know if I have a hard copy. I need to get a hard copy, but yeah,
just to go through a couple of them. There's 72 of them, so we ain't gonna go through all of them here.
But notice the 72. That number 72. That number about the nation, 72 nations.
Yeah,
72 witnesses, the carnation. True. Yo, give thanks, man, for pointing that out. It came from that book on the Shaddai. Yeah, the Shaddai, the Shad. The Shad, means breast. Usually in the scripture it refers to like a woman's breast, but it can also refer to a man's breast. But like you said, there is that like where he said like, can a mother forget her suckling child? He says she may forget, but I won't forget. So even in the Almighty, we know that it's beyond just the flesh. You know what I mean? Because there's the expression of those attributes, like mercy, is related to the word for womb. The word for womb, like rechem.
Say womb?
Womb, like the matrix, the womb.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It comes from Raham. Raham is one of his attributes. When Moses asked to know his attributes, and he revealed 13 attributes, he says like Rahum. Rahum from Raham means he will show love, mercy, but it comes from the sense of yielding. And the word rechem means the matrix, rechem, like the womb. Like a woman's womb is a place that's supposed to be loving to the fetus, but it's also yielding. So it kind of shows in the use of the word with a woman and her womb and love, how he is, or how he can be. Because Yahuwah mean like he who be, I am that I become, that I be. You know what I mean? So he can become all of that, because it's spirit. Because remember, our Elohim, our power is spirit, is Irit, ultimately. Ultimately. Thank you. I just have found the corresponding verse to 23. In 23, where Yah said he's going to send an angel, my angel, beware, my name is in him. Then in Exodus 33:12, Moses, now remember 33 is one chapter after they had broke the covenant. So it's up until we get to chapter like 34, 35, does the covenant get renewed. So what happened was that there was a broken covenant. So in the Old Testament, it's like there was a new covenant or a renewing of the covenant. But in chapter 33 is one chapter after they're like in a limbo. The Israelites are in a limbo right now. Because Moses has to go back up, and he has to now get the new set of tablets, and things change up because now they committed a horrible thing in the molten calf, because like they went back to how they used to worship before, but they told John, they said, call Diber Yahuwah Naaseh, all that Jehovah has said, Naaseh, we will do. You know what I mean? But we see that they didn't do it. So Moses here, he says to Yahuwah, to Jehovah, see. When it says see, like we say seen, sight, in the Hebrew, just like we say in like the Iric of Rastafari, we say seen, reason of the mind, say seen, your sight. In the Hebrew, to say see is almost like to say consider. Like consider this. Do you consider this? You cite this? What I'm trying to say is that it's in our spirit. We might not know Hebrew and all that, but it's already in our spirit. Because we start to break this down. We like,
it's locked in the DNA. It's locked in the DNA.
Yeah, it's like seeing, you sight, you see what I mean? So thou sayest to me, like, look, consider this. Like, you sayest to me, bring up this people. And thou hast not let me know whom thou wilt send with me. Remember the whole point about sending? I will send, right? Yet thou hast said, I know thee by name. And thou hast also found grace in my sight. In other words, you're telling me that you know me by my name, right? And you, by extension, you know Israel too. And that thou, I have found grace in your sight. And what Moses is asking now is for a greater revelation, after the molten calf. And what's so interesting is as we go on from this point, we'll get to see that he is saying, spare Israel, right? Right. Let me just go on just for a moment. He says, now therefore I pray thee. Moses like, I pray to I. If I have found grace in thy sight, shew I now thy way. Remember, he said he's going to send a mala'ach to keep you in the way, but he's saying, show me your way, that I may know thee, that I might know the I, that I may find grace in thy sight, literally in thy eyes, and consider that this nation is thy people. Remember, the Israelites had broke the covenant. They already had broke the covenant. And so it's like limbo now. It was a real limbo moment, right? A lot of ones got dead up, the leaders. And he said in verse 14, my presence. You know what this word is? I wonder what JW is going to bring out. This word is panim. Panim is the word faces. But usually in Hebrew, we use the plural to describe the face. You know why your face, my face, in Hebrew will be faces, plural, panim? Is because notice the face. The face is like two sides of one. It's like a mirror image, if you think about it. If you look at the face and you split it down the center, it's like half and half. So in the Hebrew sense, to say faces, right, is to say panim. So when he says here, my presence, my faces shall go with thee, and I will give thee rest. Now, here's the part that people miss. When people say that in the Trinity is three persons, in English, they use this term persons. But in Hebrew and in Ge'ez, the word that's used for person, right, is face, is presence. You know what I'm saying? The word used for person. So literally when it says that there are three, it's like to say that literally it's to say there's three faces, but not faces in the way that these funny pictures be making it. The face
again, I just lose my place.
Exodus 33 and 14.
14.
Yeah.
14, okay.
When he says that my presence, my face, my interaction, like the presence. If you're in somebody's presence, you're in somebody's face. And also presence mean perception. The same word can mean before. Because before, something before you is in your face. And he said, my presence shall go with thee. So he's saying that his face, he says, Wayomar panai. Panai here is to say like my face is yeleku, to go. They will go. My face is they will go. That's why I talk about the Hebrew Trinity, right? The Hebrew Trinity is very clear, even in the Shema. Hear, O Israel, the Lord thy God is one Lord. There's a Trinity there, but it's one. It's three in one. Here he's saying, Panai Yeleku. My faces, they shall go. Panai Yeleku. Why he nechoti lak. And I will give you like rest. I will give you rest. But then notice Moses. Moses comes back at him in the next verse. Moses said to him, if thy presence, right, paneka, right, holkim, right, ala ta elenu. He's saying right here, if your faces, if they don't go with me. He's literally saying, if your faces, if they don't go with me, if your perception, right, the angel is the angel of the personal angel, the angel of his face, right? And he says, if your presence go not with me, carry us not up from hence. Don't carry us up from here. Because he's pleading with the Lord because of what they have. He says, for wherein shall it be known here that I and thy people have found grace? He's begging for grace, bruh. We talk about grace in the New Testament. This is the same grace. I found grace in your eyes. Is it not that thou goest with us? He's saying, how are people going to know that we are your people? You got to come. You got to go with us. So if you send the angel of your presence, your face is there. So shall we be separated, I and your people, from all the people. All the other people, they know God in their own way, but you have sent the angel of your presence with us. You sent your face with us. And this will make us distinguish, I and your people, from all people that are upon the face of the earth. You know what I mean? And then, Yah has to comfort Moses. And then as you go on, you'll find that there's the whole revelation. You can't see my face and live. Now, wait, hold on. What's going on here? It says that Moses talked to him face to face, right? Doesn't it say he told him face to face? So how does it say over here he told him face to face? Because he spoke to the angel of the presence, the angel of the face to face. But he had not yet got to know the Father. All they heard was the Father's voice reciting the 10 words called the commandment, called the 10 commandments, but the commandment. And when they heard that, they said, if we hear his voice anymore, we die. Let Moses be a mediator. So they're used to having a mediator. They're used to having a go-between. So we talk about Yeshua being the mediator of the new covenant. What's the problem? No. What's the problem? Be like, no, I want to have an interaction with God. When God then talks to them, they're like, yo, that voice. If we hear his voice anymore,
We're going to die.
We're going to die. So here he's comforting Moses, but Moses is shrewd. Moses is shrewd. I can understand why a lot of Yehudi Jews, or even those of us who come to the higher understanding, we get into law. Because when we start to understand the Torah, his law, and how Moses is not just saying anything. It may seem like I thought Moses was just saying anything. It was just talk back and forth. But as I began to study, I'm saying, Moses is paying attention. Because he's like saying, show me your glory. Show me your glory. He want to get the fullness, because all he hears is the Father's voice. And he's able to see the angel of the presence interact with him. Right? But he knows that there's the angel of the presence. Yah's name is in him. And that there's the voice. He hears the voice. So the point is that he saw God in seeing the angel, the presence. Remember, he's the angel of the presence, the angel of the face. So literally, if he's the angel of the face, and I see the angel of the face, and God's name is in him, and he speaks of the authority of God as God, then therefore I have seen him face to face, but I want to know the Father. I want to know him. And that's when he says that nobody can see my face and live. You know what I mean? He said that nobody can see my face and live. Like, who's the one that's seen him? According to the new covenant, it's Yeshua. Because he was in his bosom. Because the Father keeps his word. His word in his bosom. I mean, when we speak a word, where do we speak it from? Our stomach? Our kneecap? Our elbow? No. You know, our ear, no, we speak it from our chest. You know what I mean? And Yah talk with enough bass in his voice, thunder and lightning. They was like, yo. But Moses, I'm not gonna say, I don't want to say Moses is clever to imply anything untowards, but Moses is very wise. In fact, even when he said your presence, he said, my presence, they shall go. Anybody who read the Hebrew, you know, he says, my face, they shall go. Right? In other words, he's saying that my word, my voice, my word, my spirit is going to go with you. You know what I mean? That I and my word and my spirit is going with you. But Moses is still trying to understand this. He's like, show me your glory. Right? Show me your glory. And that's where we get the cleft in the rock, where he said, you could only see my backward part. You could only see the tree of life. You know what I mean? You can see my backward part. You know what I mean? You know, but my face, you know, you can't, you know, you can't see that. You know, no man can see that, you know, and live. You know, so that's, because a lot of people say that it contradicts because they're not understanding what's being said. They just reading the words, but you're not really, well, who is he said right here? What does he mean by what he says right here? Right? Why does the Father say what he said? Why does it call the angel of the presence? Why does Moses say, who are you going to send with me? Right? Who are you going to send with me? And then he says, well, if your presence doesn't go with us, right, then don't lead me forward. I don't want to go either. How are we going to know that we're different than everybody else? Everybody's talking about God. You know? Everybody's talking about God and stuff. The Egyptians were talking about God. You know? But how are you going to make us distinct? You know, in your sight, you know, and in that way, and because notice, before the molten calf, they knew, because Moses was told that he's going to send his angel. But then after the molten calf, right, there's a doubt about it. You know, he says, if your face doesn't go. Now remember the word panim and panai, my face, is the same as peniel in Hebrew. It's the same word. When it says the pineal or pineal, as we would say, right, is the face, or the let me bring out this word just so one can get it. Face, faces. It can mean presence. It can mean person. You notice how the JW said for the other verse, it said my personal.
Yeah. Personal messenger.
Because one of the definitions of panai, panim, is presence and person. It can be the face of seraphim, cherubim. It's the same word used for the face of animals. It's the same word used for the face, the surface of the ground. It can also be used in the sense of before or in front of, right? In front of. And it's always plural, right? But it's more or less used in a singular sense. But literally, it's plural, right? You know, that's why 3 men came to Abraham's gates. Notice there were 3 of them, right? But one of them started to speak as God. And Abraham is interacting with him and talking to him as God, and he's promising him to do things. He said, same time next year, your wife, she's going to have a son. You know what I mean? And then Sarah, she laughs. But notice, Sarah, she laughs where? In her heart. See, I was thinking a while ago, and I have to thank my wife who's reasoning on this. And when I started to look at the text, it's like I saw something I didn't see before that. She didn't laugh outwardly. She didn't laugh like ha, 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 ha behind the tent door. She laughed in her heart. And then notice, the Lord, one of the 3 men that's called Jehovah, he turns to Abraham and he says, why did Sarah laugh? No, wait. Now picture, you know how you say you like to see it like a movie? You know, now picture this right here. She's behind the tent door. Abraham is with the 3, the Shalosh, the Trinity, right? He's with the 3. One of them is speaking as God the Father, as God, as Yahuwah, right? And then says to Abraham, why did Sarah laugh? I finally got it. Like I wondered like why he said that. Once I recognized she laughed in her heart, I got what was going on. But why did he ask that? Remember when he first told Abraham that you're going to have a son? Abraham laughed. And now she laughed. And then notice what is said next. Is there anything impossible for God?
Exactly.
Is there anything impossible? So that shows that one of the three men was God, or at least one of the three men was speaking as God. Listen, if you speak as God and the work follow, the fruit follow, hey, that's, so be. You know what I mean? You walk morally upright with me. You know what I mean? And you're God and you bless and you do this. Hey, so, but it doesn't make logical sense. Logical, right? In the beginning was the word was the logos. That's the only thing that's logical when you really think about it. Yeah, things make sense to us from what we can see, hear, feel, touch, taste. But when when my dog ears perk up and they hear something, I didn't hear nothing, bro. It's not logical. Why is the dog hearing? I didn't hear what the dog heard. If you're wise, you'll take that hint from the dog, right?
Exactly.
Something might be going on that you need to.
You can't hear,
No, dog, you silly.
There's things that you can't see that is there, but you can't see it.
But it's still there.
But you can't hear it.
But it's still there. And that go back to what you're saying about the garden, how we fell from the higher perception of things. So because we fell from a higher consciousness perception of things, doesn't mean those things don't exist no more. It just means we're blind, we're deaf. You know what I mean? We can't, we can't see it. We can't hear it. And thanks be, thanks be to the King of Kings Christ. Thanks be to Yeshua. Thanks be to his word. You know what I mean? His word, for sending his word. You know what I mean? So can he send a word into a womb of a woman, right? To make a point? Who am I to say, oh no, he can't do that. He got to do it according to my, what is man? What is man?
He's man. See that question, what is man? Check out the reasoning. What is man? Look it up.
Please, look up the reasoning on this, hopefully on this platform right here, because this, bro, I see graciously, I'm a little above, beyond the hour here. I don't know if I want to just put a ceiling, on this right here.